Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're stepping into the shadowy world of film noir to, well, try to figure out what makes a femme fatale tick.
And we've got a list of 10 of them, 10 iconic examples, I should say, to help us unravel that mystery. Get ready for some serious intrigue.
I've always been fascinated by those women, draped in shadows, secrets, all that. There's just something so captivating about them. But I have a feeling it goes much deeper than just a glamorous facade, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're much more than just beautiful faces. These are complex characters who often reflect the anxieties, the evolving social landscapes of their time. To really understand the femme fatale, I think we need to start by understanding the world that created her, film noir.
Okay, so before we dive into the list, set the stage for us. What about film noir? What about it sets it apart?
Okay, imagine this. Post-World War II, America, right? The men are back, but things feel different, right? There's a darkness kind of lurking beneath the surface, a sense of disillusionment. That's the essence of film noir. It's visually striking, shot in stark black and white, dramatic shadows, these unconventional camera angles. But it's more than just a look.
Yeah, there's that moral ambiguity, like anyone, even the seemingly innocent, could be hiding something.
Exactly. And amidst all this moral fog emerges the femme fatale. She's beautiful, intelligent, and she knows how to use what she's got to get what she wants. But she also, and this is important, she disrupts the status quo. They challenge these traditional gender roles, and often, well, that's where things get really interesting.
You can say that again. So where does one begin with these captivating, dangerous women? Well, our list starts with Brigid O'Shaughnessy from The Maltese Falcon, a woman who, well, she could charm the cigarettes right out of your mouth.
Oh, she is the embodiment of calculated manipulation, isn't she? I mean,
No.
Brigid, she plays the damsel in distress to perfection, even fooling the cynical Sam Spade for a while.
Oh, she definitely had him going for a while. But what makes her truly fascinating is how she uses those societal expectations of women to her advantage.
Exactly. She plays into that idea that women are, vulnerable, easily manipulated, only to completely turn the tables on the men who underestimate her. And the brilliance of the performance is that she almost gets away with it.
Almost being the operative word there. Then there's Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard, a woman clinging to her past glory. She's captivating, she's tragic. But is she really a femme fatale in the classic sense?
See, that's where the waters get a bit murky. She's alluring, she's undeniably dangerous, but she's also a victim herself, a victim of Hollywood's obsession with youth and, well, the fleeting nature of fame, really.
It's almost as if fame itself is the true villain in her story, wouldn't you say? I mean, both she and the screenwriter, Joe Gillis, they're both consumed by their ambition in the end.
And that's a common thread in a lot of these films. The idea that ambition, especially in women, can have some dangerous consequences.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. So we've got calculated manipulation with Brigid, the tragedy of ambition with Norma. What about Alice Reed from The Woman in the Window? She's less mastermind, more like a moth to a flame, wouldn't you say?
Ah, Alice. She embodies a very different kind of noir fear. The alluring woman who leads men astray from their safe, boring lives. She's not actively plotting or scheming, but she represents the seductive power of temptation, the fear of losing control.
Which Professor Wanley learns the hard way. It's amazing how a simple look, a shared drink can just draw you into a web you never even saw coming. It's enough to make you want to, avoid eye contact altogether.
Don't worry. I'll be sure to warn you if you start to fall under the spell of any of these femme fatale.
Okay, good to know. Because we're moving on to a femme fatale who, well, she isn't even alive for most of her film. Laura Hunt from Laura, of course.
Talk about a haunting presence. Even in death, Laura exerts this powerful pull on the men who were obsessed with her.
She's like this idealized woman, beautiful and completely unattainable, which in a way makes her even more dangerous because she only really exists in their minds.
And those fantasies, those projections, they're ultimately what drive the narrative, wouldn't you say? It's less about Laura as a character and more about what she represents to these men. It really makes you wonder if the real danger in Laura isn't the femme fatale herself, but the way these men, the way they project their own desires, their own fantasies onto this idealized figure.
It's like Pygmalion, but with a healthy dose of murder mystery thrown in.
Exactly. And that exploration of male obsession, that's a recurring theme for sure in film noir.
Speaking of obsession, let's talk about Kathy Moffat from Out of the Past. She's definitely not an ethereal beauty like Laura. Kathy's sharp, she's cunning, always 2 steps ahead.
Oh, she represents a different kind of power, I think. The power of words, of wit, of always knowing how to play the angles.
And she plays both sides, doesn't she? Keeping her gangster boyfriend and the private investigator, well, wrapped around her little finger. Talk about playing a dangerous game.
With Kathy, it's all about survival, using whatever means necessary to stay afloat in a dangerous world, and not just surviving. She's thriving in a man's world by using their own rules against them.
And then there's Vera from Detour. I mean, to even call her a femme fatale almost feels like an understatement, doesn't it? She's more like a force of nature, a hurricane of bad luck and bad decisions.
Vera really challenges the femme fatale archetype, doesn't she? There's no calculated seduction, no real manipulation, just this raw, almost nihilistic energy.
It's like she's the embodiment of everything that can go wrong in a film noir.
Yeah.
Fate, betrayal, and then you've got the woman she's about as charming as a venomous snake.
And yet she still holds this strange power over the entire film, doesn't she? Driving the narrative forward with her unpredictable nature. It's like she exposes the darkness that was already lurking beneath the surface.
Okay, so we've got manipulation, ambition, temptation, and just pure chaos. Where do we even go from here?
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about a femme fatale with maybe a bit more polish, shall we? Elsa Bannister from The Lady from Shanghai. Don't let that platinum blonde hair fool you. She's as sharp as a broken mirror.
It's that whole looks can be deceiving thing, right? I mean, initially she just seems like, this helpless trophy wife. But there's a reason everyone underestimates her.
Mm-hmm. Because she wants them to. She understands the power of playing the victim, of lulling people into this false sense of security. And by the time they realize what she's truly capable of, well, it's too late.
Okay, that's just scary good. Speaking of scary good, let's talk about the grand dame of femme fatales, the one and only Phyllis Dietrichson from Double Indemnity.
If there were a master class in seduction and manipulation, Phyllis would be she'd be the professor, wouldn't she? She is the ultimate puppet master, pulling the strings from the moment she sets eyes on Walter Neff.
And poor Walter, he never stood a chance, did he?
Yeah.
Completely captivated by her from the start.
That's the power of Phyllis, isn't it? She understands desire, both her own and the desires of others, and she's not afraid to exploit those desires to get what she wants.
She's a master manipulator, no doubt. But there's also this underlying vulnerability to her.
Yeah.
It's like she's not completely heartless.
Which makes her all the more compelling, wouldn't you say? It's that complexity, that hint of humanity that elevates her from just a simple villain to a truly unforgettable character.
It's like she's both the fire and the gasoline.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to lighten the mood a little bit after that. Let's talk about Annie Laurie Starr from Gun Crazy. She's a different breed of femme fatale, more Bonnie Parker than Phyllis Dietrichson.
Annie's she's a fascinating study in power dynamics and what we now might call toxic relationships. She's addicted to the thrill of the crime, and she uses her sexuality and Bart's infatuation with her to keep him on a very short leash.
She's a walking contradiction. Both vulnerable and incredibly dangerous, seductive and deadly.
And the brilliance of the film, I think, is that it leaves you wondering, is Annie really in control here, or is she a prisoner of her own desires? It's a question that really lingers long after the credits roll.
It's enough to give you whiplash. And finally we have Jane Palmer from Too Late for Tears. This woman is all about cold hard cash, and she'll bulldoze anyone who gets in her way.
Jane she's a fantastic example of a femme fatale who weaponizes the way society underestimates women. She plays on those expectations, using them to her advantage at every turn.
She sees an an opportunity for a better life,
Yeah.
and she grabs it. Consequences be damned. You almost have to admire her tenacity, even if her methods are, let's say morally flexible.
Exactly, and that's what makes these femme fatales so enduringly fascinating, isn't it? They reflect back at us our own complicated relationship with ambition, with desire, and with the choices that we make, in the pursuit of what we want.
It's like we've journeyed through this whole gallery of these powerful, complex women, each one a testament to the enduring allure of the femme fatale.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how these characters, born in the shadowy world of classic film noir, how they continue to resonate with us even today. They've become almost archetypal. Their stories echoing in the narratives we tell ourselves about ambition and desire and the consequences of defying expectations.
Yeah, it's almost as if the femme fatale is like a chameleon, isn't she? Adapting to different eras, different genres, but always retaining that core essence, of allure and danger.
Exactly. Think about it. We see shades of these classic femme fatales everywhere, don't we? I mean, from literature to television, even video games. They might not always be, draped in furs and cigarette smoke, but they still possess that same potent combination: intelligence, beauty, a willingness to break the rules.
It's like they're reflections of our own evolving anxieties and fascinations, wouldn't you say?
Precisely. And that's why they continue to captivate us, right? They challenge us. They challenge us to question our assumptions about power, about gender, and about what happens when we step outside the lines. They force us to confront these darker impulses that lurk beneath the surface, even in the most seemingly innocent facades.
Okay, so we've explored this shadowy world, the world of classic film noir, but now we want to hear from you. What modern day femme fatales have caught your eye?
Who are the characters in books, in films, even video games that you think embody the spirit of the femme fatale for a modern audience? What makes them so compelling to you?
Share your picks with us on social media. Tell us what you think makes them fascinating. Why their stories resonate with you, especially in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe we'll delve into this world a little bit deeper, the world of the modern femme fatale in a future deep dive.
Until then, remember, the world is full of shadows, and sometimes the most alluring characters, they're the ones who know how to use them.
And with that chilling thought, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.